Now, a bulk of what I do on this channel is Linux stuff. Linux tutorials, overviews, speed tests, all kinds of things. But what I don't really talk about much is why some people shouldn't switch to Linux. And that's what I'm going to cover in this video. This is going to be the 5 reasons not to switch to Linux. Because in reality, while I do think a majority of people could benefit from Linux and are going to have a wonderful experience, there are some people that are ultimately just going to be frustrated with it. There's some things that you might not be able to do on Linux that you need to do on your primary machine. So we're going to be getting into some of that today and some of the nitpicky things on why you might just want to stick with Windows. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is pricing. This used to be a big point to switch over to Linux, but it hasn't been that way as much anymore. A lot of people like Linux because for the sole purpose that it's free, you can download various distributions from the internet with no cost. But nowadays, you could basically get Windows 10 for free. You can download it from their website as an ISO, install it on your machine. Yes, you'll have that annoying little watermark on the bottom, and yes, you will have some limitations to some of the customizations and some of the settings you can change, but ultimately the actual general usability of Windows 10 is completely free. You could go ahead and download it, use it, and it costs you nothing. And even if you did want to get rid of that watermark, there are things that you could do to get rid of it, whether that be buying a activation code off of the gray market, which I'm not going to really get into, but it works usually. I wouldn't personally recommend it, but you could find Windows 10 activation codes for fairly cheap. Now, the second reason you might not want to switch from Windows to Linux is the applications that you're going to need to use on your Windows machine, whether that be for work, school, whatever. Sometimes there are situations that you cannot use a free substitute. Granted, there are tons of free substitutes, and I actually have a video on this that you could go ahead and check out. So there's all kinds of different creator. Kdenlive, for example, is a great video editor. GIMP and Krita are wonderful photo editors. But sometimes you just need a feature or you need something that is not available in these alternatives. A good example is After Effects. I've yet to find a good After Effects alternative, and if you know of one, go ahead and leave it down below. But you could use Blender and get a lot of the same effects, but After Effects is amazing and there's hardly a substitute for it. And there is a few other things such as the Microsoft Office applications. You can't really, you could use Wine and things like that, but I don't really like to use Wine. Half the time it doesn't work. If things update, you have issues. You could get Microsoft Office to work in Wine, especially if you use a older like Microsoft Office 2010 or something like that. You might have a good time doing that. But the newer Microsoft Office 365 stuff just isn't going to run on Linux that well. You could use the online stuff, but a lot of people like the actual software on their system. And then there's other work fields that do require Windows applications, such as if you use GSI. I know there's not very many Linux substitutes for some of the applications you need to use that mapping software, and the list goes on. And speaking of things without very good alternatives in Linux, and that is games. There are a ton of games that work on Linux, and as time progresses, it does get better and better when it comes to the Linux gaming ecosystem, but there are still tons of hurdles that we need to cross. One of them is anti-cheat. Anti-cheat just breaks breaks games that would work on Linux. A lot of times you could use Proton through Steam and run a lot of different Steam games, but if they're multiplayer and they use anti-cheat, you're going to run into issues. I experienced this recently with Fall Guys. Fall Guys adopted anti-cheat. I absolutely love that game. So that really sucked. So literally in my main system, I do have a little M.2 SSD plugged in with a Windows installation on it, with the only thing on the entire SSD being Fall Guys. So if you have one or two games that you need to play that only work on Windows, you could do that. You could have an extra SSD and just dual boot it. So until the market share on Linux is high enough that developers start making versions for Linux, we're going to run into problems with that. And there are big titles that you can't run on Linux, such as Call of Duty and other games that use the Blizzard launcher do have issues. And I'll have a link in the description for tutorials for a workaround for some of these. So if you're going to switch to Linux and you're an avid gamer, make sure that it does work, because you might install Linux and be thoroughly disappointed and end up reverting back to Windows anyways. And to get a lot of these games to run, that will require a lot of time, patience, and tinkering around. And that brings us to our fourth point. You simply don't have the time or the patience to fix things in Linux. And trust me, unless if you're doing basic things, you're able to install applications right from whatever app centers you want and run them as is and not tinker around or play with anything, you're probably going to have to fix a thing or two. And especially coming from Windows to Linux, you are learning a completely new ecosystem. The file tree is completely different, and at first, something like the file tree might not make complete sense to you because you're used to just program files, System32, things like that. But once you get to learn something like the Linux file tree, it actually makes more sense. But the learning it thing is what takes some time and some patience, some tinkering. You have to be willing to learn and have to have the time to spend to actually learn the Linux ecosystem. Now, like I said, this might not be true if you're just going to throw in a Ubuntu disk and load up a web browser and have everything you need through that system. You will be good to go. You don't really have much, or you don't really need to learn that much. But for most people, you're going to want to get into things like customization, tinkering around, changing settings. That's one of the things that's really fun about Linux is whatever distribution you go with, you could basically change everything. And if you have no patience for any of that, then you might just want to keep your Windows installation and keep running with what you're comfortable with. And speaking of time and patience, one thing that you are going to need to have patience with is some hardware issues. Now, I have an NVIDIA graphics card in my system right now, and oh boy is it a pain in the NVIDIA is just one example of a company that doesn't really cater to open source communities, unlike AMD, where they actually release their drivers into the Linux kernel itself. So if you have an AMD graphics card, you're not going to have any issues at all. But I made the mistake when I built this of getting a NVIDIA one, so this is just one example of hardware issues you may have. Another thing, for example, this system has RGB, one of the two, has the lighting in it, so there aren't really very many tools. There's only one tool actually to kind of customize that, and it doesn't work half the time. It's a great tool, but it's just another hardware thing that you're not going to have the kind of support that you would in a Windows environment that you do in a Linux environment. There's also a bunch of issue with certain laptops and their Wi-Fi cards, particularly the Broadcom Wi-Fi cards, aren't really friendly with Linux and open source software. So if you have one of those, you kind of need to watch out. The beautiful thing about Linux is you could throw it on a live USB and actually test this out to see if you have any issues booting into it. And as far as the NVIDIA thing, you can install something like Pop! OS that includes some of the NVIDIA drivers out of the box, which is very nice. So these are my reasons that you probably might want to stay with Windows if you're considering switching to Linux, but I'm a complete Linux advocate. I would recommend everybody try it out. There will be a video on screen to check out my 5 reasons I switched to Linux, so I would recommend you go ahead and check that out. Additionally, if you have any counter arguments to anything I mentioned in this video, I would love to hear it. I would love this 5-item list to become a 3, 2, 1, up to the point where someday there may be no reason not to switch to Linux. So please leave those down below, as well as any other comments, questions, concerns, or input down below. Like this video if you did. You know what to do if you didn't. Subscribe for more content like this. It's free. If you don't like me, you can always unsubscribe later. Have a great day, and goodbye.